Let's go, baby. Today you are in the Win in Real Estate and SITREP podcast. And today I got brother Mark Anthony and Bruno Nascimento. And we're going to talk about how he got $250,000 in equity utilizing his VA loan. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
How y'all doing today?
Good, man. Excited to be here.
That's crazy, man. So, how long have you been in the Marine Corps?
6 years and some change now.
Wait a minute. You've been in for 6 years, so you're in your second quarter of your career, right?
Yep.
5, 10, 15, 20 years. You plan on making it a career?
I'm trying to, so as long as they want me in, I'm going to keep going, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm trying to.
That's crazy. So tell us how did you guys meet?
Man, so I met Mark at Weapons for Training Battalion. So he was actually one of my Marines while I was stationed over there. And we just started talking, and he was married to active duty, and I'm like, man, what are we doing? Paying rent and everything else, and
Dual military.
Yeah, yep. And then and then the rest was history, man.
That's crazy, man. So tell us about the property. Where did you buy it?
We bought in Temecula, so like right off the Old Town front, so right off the main exit, so it's really convenient. So
okay. What was the hardest part about the home buying process for you?
Picking a house. Hands down, hardest one, because between me and my wife, she likes certain things, I like certain things. Like one of the houses, like I was talking to Bruno earlier about there's this one house, it was a 4-car garage, but one of the portions of it had like a man cave to it. Mm-hmm. I was like, we need to have it, but my wife didn't like it because this one little 2x4 hole or a little hole in the wall that led to the attic, she just didn't like that. So I was like, okay, so I got to suck it up. So we went searching. I think we looked at a total like 50 some houses in like a week and a half.
50 houses?
Yeah,
looked at a bunch, yeah.
Yeah, and we found 3 that we liked. We put a bid on one of them. Didn't get that first one. Second one we did, and we found love with it. Pool, everything. So
let me ask you a question. How did it feel when you got denied the first time?
It sucked only because like we just got outbidded. Like it was an awesome house. It sucked, but I mean,
by like an all cash offer too, so it was like hard to beat that.
I was like, all right, never mind, I can't do nothing about it. So the next one, like it was like the area where it was at was like just spot on because we had the mall down the street, we got a school across the street from us, a middle school, a high school, just everything's so convenient. Like we could literally walk to everything in like 10 minutes or less if we wanted to.
Yeah,
but everything's really awesome over there. So.
Now, I do have a question. So for when you were going through the process, were there any reservations about you purchasing?
No, not really.
He says that.
He says it now since he's a homeowner.
Yeah, so,
come on.
So now he looks at me like, well, so
let me ask Bruno. Let me ask Bruno this question. Bruno, what reservations did he have when he was buying the property?
Man, I think it was just not having the knowledge. Is what I took away from early on because I remember talking to Mark early on, right? And it took him a couple months for him to go and say, you know what, we're ready. Which now looking back, and I'm like, you know what? It's one of those where once you're ready, when you're ready, right? And it was one of those where he was paying rent, and I was like talking about how much rent he was paying, getting double BH, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing? But I think it was me talking to him regularly about it, right? Mm-hmm. But what I would assume that kind of helped like push over the edge was I had him come out to one of the classes that we were teaching at Pacific Views.
Oh wow!
Yep.
So you actually was in one of the boot camps.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How long ago was that? Because we haven't done boot camps since COVID.
2019 was the boot camp. So it was in 2019, but it was like September timeframe, right? And then we didn't start looking until December, right? So he was going back and forth and stuff like that. But I think it was the getting him to come out there, get the knowledge, and it was like, man, and he was one of my first few transactions that I had, when I first got started. But it was one of those where everything came so natural to me. So this was a time that Connie got to see me talk to somebody. She was like, "You just now getting started with with the real estate?" I was like, "Yeah, but I just love this stuff."
The compassion in
it.
That's it's crazy. And one of the biggest things that I see when people get started is that once they're in the process, it gets real because it moves so fast. Was there during the process, right, you go out, you get approved, right? Then you go out home shopping, then you get in the escrow. Talk to me about the home inspection, because you said the house was built in the 80s. Was there anything that was alarming about the property?
Not really, no, because I mean the previous owners did a lot of renovating beforehand. So like they remodeled the kitchen, the living room. They just doing a new AC system. So I wasn't really worried about anything. I think that was like the click to it as well. Like, hey, it's new. Like, why not? Why don't we
Right.
just, this one's like should be it. And me and my wife, like, we talked about it. I think it took like 2 days, and then she was like, okay, let's do it. We want it. So I was gonna hit up Bruno, like, hey, put the bid, we want it. So.
Now, Bruno, I do have another question. Is your wife still active duty?
No, she recently got out a few months ago, actually. So
Okay. So another thing, Bruno, did you know that you can utilize her VA entitlement to purchase another property in the future?
we did. So we're planning on doing that later on. Come down the line whenever I get stationed somewhere else. But we're definitely planning on doing that for sure.
That's awesome. So Bruno, can you talk about purchasing in Temecula? Since they purchased in Temecula and they're in Riverside County with the no VA loan limit, right? So now they can do in San Diego County. Can you talk about utilizing the secondary entitlement?
Yeah, so I mean, so for him in particular, right? So in the case that he wasn't married to a veteran and he wanted to tap into his entitlement more, because San Diego County has a higher limit, you'd be able to go and purchase, right, another property, even if your wife didn't have that entitlement.
See, this we keeping it real in here because we got the phone ringing in here. This is how we get down, baby. It's really cool to hear that, and it's awesome. Did you know also that you can do a cash out refinance too to invest? Can you talk about that, Bruno?
We were just having a conversation before we started, right? Where I was telling him, I'm like, man, like a lot of people were beating the myth of like, I can only buy and sell and that's it, right? When really it's like you have that property and that asset that is going to appreciate. And then now the $250,000 that he has in there, right? So Mark, and this is kind of like a plug that I'm putting in for the world. So are you going to, people are going to be holding you accountable, right? Mark has a little side hustle where he goes and he puts metals together, sewing stuff.
yeah, putting
Stop
chevrons.
something real quick about it real quick.
So I do metal mounting, sewing chevrons, fitting uniforms itself. Just prior to joining the Marine Corps, I was a tailor. So I did that, and then it's just helped out a lot throughout the Marine Corps itself, so I don't have to pay for a tailor or anything like that.
Yeah, and then what I was telling him, I'm like, man, if ever it gets to the point where that business starts to take off, right, and it shifts a little bit more from just a side hustle to something else, he can tap into that house and then pulling out some of that equity for that cash out refi,
Right.
and then throw that money towards his business, right, to help take it to the next level.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. So if you had, let's just say, and just for the audience, you guys, to understand what they're talking about is, since he has $250,000 of equity. Equity is the amount what you pay for the property, right? And then the increase in value of the property, and you paying down your principal payment. That in between is called your little equity sandwich. So that's a good way to explain it. But just like Bruno explained, and the reason why we wanted to ask you that is because the VA is the only loan that will allow you to take 100% of your equity position out. Now, we don't suggest you do that.
Oh, no,
right? You don't want to take all the money out of your property. You always want to leave some in there in the event that something goes wrong. But it's cool because you get to, make improvements and stuff like that.
So we're already planning on doing that too. Planning on putting a balcony and some other things going out in front. So we got a lot planned already.
That's pretty awesome. So what advice would you give Mark, Anthony, and your second year in the Marine Corps in regard to investing in real estate?
What would it be?
Honestly, just it's a hard one. Like it's this for just investing in property itself is like do it. Don't wait, because at the end of the day, it's just gonna keep rising, and then you're gonna miss that spot. Like I tell some of my junior Marines, like, don't wait till the last minute, because next thing you know, like you're gonna miss that spot, and your payment could have been here, now it's up here. So like I wish I can go back and like, hey, as soon as I would have met Bruno, like me and Bruno were talking about it for like months, and it was like, hey man, like why are you paying someone else's rent when you could be paying yourself? And I was just like, or paying your own rent. I was like, I don't know, like I wish I was a little bit more lenient towards it. So I would say just go for it, honestly. Like, if you're going to do it, and it's just going to be a skyrocket from there.
Because that's where it's at. It's, you know, like what everybody says, right? It's like the best time to buy was yesterday. You know, people who are out here trying to time the market, trying to, you know, the Facebook pros and everybody else, right? Who, oh no, it's going to crash, it's going to do this. And it's like, look, like Southern California real estate market has just shown the world, right, that they were able to withstand a pandemic and they thrived, right? So much so that, you know, this guy that's been in the Marine Corps for 6 years bought a property, and I mean, you just hit 2 years in your property, and the property went up $250,000 in equity. That's crazy.
Listen, if y'all didn't hear what he just said, $250,000. And the crazy part about it is that, number one, you know what your monthly payments are going to be.
Yep.
So you can predict that. If the market crashes or goes down, you have leverage, because if people are losing their properties, where are they going to go? They need to rent. Yep. So if you have renters in the property and it's not covering your mortgage, right, that you're able to write off whatever it is you're paying. So the example would be if Bruno purchases a property and he paid, let's just say $500,000 for it, and his monthly payment was $3,000, and and he can only get $2,900 for the property. That $100 is a tax write-off, because your business is taking a loss, right? So you can predict your payments, and then eventually the market will rebound. And then also rent always goes up in most cases, right?
Yeah.
So it's a win-win scenario when you look at the 360. But you know what you just said is just do it, make the decision. That was a $250,000 decision, dog. So I would have been like, hey, you know what? I'll be dancing, you know, because I guarantee you right now that the people that are in base housing, they probably don't even have 20,000, 10,000, 5,000 in their pocket, and that property works as a big piggy bank for you. Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's the thing too, where, you know, you're talking about the rent goes up, right? And then for the active duty folks that are out there watching this, remember your BH goes up, right? So right now we just crossed over to the new year, right? And the BH did what it does, right? It tries to keep up with the economy. It tries to keep up with inflation, right? So the rents are going up because, just like Tony said, every year the rent's going to go up.
Yep.
And that's why our BH goes up. I mean, it's not because Uncle Sam, you know, is trying to just to give us more money, right? They're giving us enough money for us to withstand, right, how the things kind of change and things go up. And, you know, it's one of those, man, if you wait, all you're doing is you're just sleeping on the money, you know, and putting yourself in other positions to where, like, you know, how we were talking about earlier with the cash out refi, like this guy just set himself up to where he can pull that cash out to go start a business or go, you know, venture off into something different. So, you know, for Lily, she got out of the Marine Corps, and if she wants to go start her own business, they can pull money out and fund that business and not take a personal loan. They can go and pull the money out you're at what, 2.25%, right?
2.25.
2.25. Let's say he did a refi, and then even if the amount went up in the interest rate to 2.5 on a $200,000 loan, try getting a personal loan for $200,000 and see what the interest rate is going to be on that.
Oh, that's huge, Bruno. And I definitely want to echo that or build off of what you just said. You know, so building with you is, right, your spouse is currently not working, or is she working?
She's going to college right now.
Okay, she's going to school.
Yeah. Now,
you take now watch this play, and I'm gonna throw this 360 layup. Let's see if Bruno still got his Michael Jordans on. I know he's old school, right? So I want to see if he can still slam dunk. He might get one dunk, and then after that dunk, he might have to go put some icy hot on his ankles. But check this out. So let's play this scenario, Bruno, and I wanna talk to you about this scenario. Let's just say that he decides to do a cash out refi, and then maybe possibly take that money and then buy a property cash, right? And then now you have another cash producing asset, right? So let's just say you went to Georgia or Florida and you bought a property for $100,000. That $100,000 is at least going to get you anywhere from $800 to $1,100 a month cash flowing, and the property is going to appreciate over time, right? So now you have a property that's going to pay you $12,000, $13,000, $15,000 a year. That's another business that's free and clear. So those are the options. Bruno, you wanna echo or build off what I just said?
And I think that's trying to get people to understand that, right? To where they're thinking outside the box and thinking bigger, because a lot of times the opposition that people will have on why they are afraid to do a cash out is because, well, if I pull money out, my mortgage is going to go up. And it will, sure, right? Because you're financing more. But now let's say your mortgage is going up by $200. But then now if you do the play that you just listed, right, and then you apply that money into something else that's giving you a much larger return, right, on your investment, then you're taking a $200 loss, right, by your mortgage going up by $200. But if you apply that money into something else, like purchasing a property cash, that's cash flowing you $1,000 a month, you just went up $800.
Yep. So that's
we put a mark on.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm like,
mark on game.
I need to go find some more property now.
So in closing, what do you want to tell the Marines and sailors and all of the service members on the podcast? What advice would you give them moving forward in regard to investing in real estate?
Do your research, and don't be afraid to actually like reach out and talk to somebody. Like Bruno, like we talked about it. He's been hyping about it, like down on range, and like just actually go for it now. Like the sky's the limit, honestly. Like you have so much opportunities, especially with the VA. So just do your research and hit it, honestly.
And not even only that, one last thing too, you have a business. I want you to plug your business. You want to talk about your business really quick? And then we'll close with Bruno giving us a Veteran Homeowners Club nugget for the SITREP podcast.
Cool. So, I mean, my business is just metal mounting, because I know like the PX charges like $20 per metal. I'm half that freaking price. I promise you that. I have a 24-hour turnaround service. Like I'm that quick. I'm that good. And I guarantee my work. So if it ever comes messed up, I'll fix it right then and there too.
And how can we find you?
Well, I'm working on that portion.
Oh,
right
come
now,
on, man. Plugging the business. He's like, you could just find me on
I'm working at the little kinks, but you can email me at markanthony.cambrone@yahoo.com and
Instagram, Facebook?
No, none of that right
Okay,
now.
all right, brother. And
But
then,
you know what? So one of the things that before we leave here today, I was talking to him, right? Before we leave here today, we're going to get a piece of paper and we're going to write down 3 things that he's going to do over the next 24 hours while he's on duty to boost his business.
See, and that's the beauty of coming out here, because the SITREP podcast is not only teaching you how to win in real estate, it also is highlighting veterans in business. I think that's the most important thing, right? So congratulations on the $250,000. Don't let me catch you in Vegas turning up.
Nah, definitely not.
All right. Congratulations on getting a bag in real estate and winning in real estate. Bruno, you got a VHC nugget for us today?
I do. So, and it kind of goes hand in hand with what we were talking about earlier, right? So his spouse has, since gotten out of the Marine Corps, right? The disability. So going through the process, getting your rating for disability, and then using that for you to be able to not pay for the VA funding fee, right? Getting that waived, and also looking into your county to see if you get any tax exemptions applied with that disability. So things that get overlooked, things that people often forget about, but I'm telling you, the benefits to us being veterans are huge. And one of the most underutilized benefit that we have is not using the VA to the full capacity.
Yep. Boom, bam, bip, baby. Let's freaking go. Bruno, how can we find you? Oh, and I got one save round, because we always got save rounds in the Marine Corps. So check this out. Bruno, I want to say congratulations, because Bruno for 2021 was the top producing real estate agent. So you got the best in the business right now in Remax Liberty. Yeah, drum roll, baby. Let's go. All right, man. So congratulations to your success.
Appreciate it.
And Bruno and I have been friends. We were on the depot together, and it's just awesome to see him being an advocate and people negotiating like they're buying their own home. And for those of you who don't know, realtors work for free, and the sellers pay the commission when they're actually paying us. So when someone is negotiating, when they negotiate a deal for you, they make less money. So remember that. So I know Bruno does that, and that's why he's a top producer, because he puts the character over the commission. And I really appreciate you out here fighting for the veterans. And how can we find you, brother?
No, and I appreciate the opportunity and taking me in and letting me find my passion is what I was talking to Mark about earlier. But you guys can find me. I'm on social media at Making Homeowners, makinghomeowners.com, and my phone number that I'm sure this awesome cameraman is gonna drop down right about here somewhere. So reach us out, and it's not even about buying, selling, right? It's about the education. If nothing else, call us just for us to kick it, right? And, just talk about things and, educate you on a thing or two.
All right, y'all, and we're out. And you can find us on Win in Real Estate. We got the website, wirementors.com, and then also wire10k.com. And then that's how you can follow us on the SITREP podcast. And we are out. Congratulations, Mark. And
man, appreciate it.
$75, brother. We rock.